Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel for another interesting review and another Oberfränkisches piece. This one is from Brauerei Friedmann in Gräfenberg, and it comes in this 0.33 little gourmet flasche. I think it's the first time that I'm having this bottle shape, and you see a beautiful Friedmann cap right here. And the reason for why I'm having a 0.3 liter bottle is that it's quite common for a pils to come in this smaller bottle. Usually I prefer the bigger 0.5 liter bottle, and I'm also going to use this for the beer style well-fitting glass. Germans are it's very important to have the right glass for the right beer style. This is one of two breweries in Franconia that I know of that is having a woman as the brewmaster and owner. The other one is Brauerei, which I'm going to review a beer from in the future, of course. Some short information about Friedmann Brauerei that I found on the brewer's website, which I'll link to in the description box below. The principle has been in the place since 1875. God preserves hops and malt, a medium-sized family brewery with a total of 5 employees and more than 140 years of professional experience. We have made a name for ourselves in the Franconia region around Nuremberg and beyond. The brewery and our beer stand for lasting quality and reliability. We have an obligation for the connoisseurs and lovers of our beer to continuously, with high quality, from the grist mill, mash and lauter tun, vault kettle and whirlpool to fermentation and storage portions. We work with the greatest care and competence in order to be able to guarantee you constantly high quality of beers in the future. You can get our beers in many restaurants and beverage markets in the region, and of course directly from us. German purity law from 1516 is the oldest food law regulation in the world that is still valid today, almost 500 years old, and is still relevant today as it was then. According to it, beer in Germany is only brewed from malt, hops, yeast and water. This is of course also the case in Gräfenberg. We only use natural, pure and organically grown raw materials for the production of our beers. Water, in terms of quantity, water provides the largest share of raw materials used in beer production. However, only part of the required raw material go directly into finished beer, which consists of 90% water. Another part is used for cleaning and rinsing purposes. A distinction is therefore made between service water and brewing water. A long technological development has led to the fact that the expensive raw material water can be used by much more economically today than a few years ago. The water treatment is of particular importance for the brewery, since the quality of the water has an influence on the quality of the beer made from it. The most important factor here is the hardness of the water, which depends on the amount of calcium and magnesium ions dissolved in it. Barley, the 2-row nodding spring barley is used to make the malt. For brewing barley, high starch, low protein, high fermentation and low husk content is required. The barley cannot be processed directly in the brewery. The ingredients of the barley, especially the starch, must first be prepared for the brewing process. This process takes place in the malt house. Here the grain first soaked and then germinated. After soaking and germination, the maltster speaks of green malt. In the next step, kilning, the green malt is gently dried. The water content of the green malt, the temperature control during kilning and the selected drying temperature influence of color and aroma of the malt, thus also of the later beer. Low fermentation temperatures, approximately 80 degrees, result in light malt. High fermentation temperatures, 90 to 110 degrees, result in dark malt colors. Hop, the climbing plant that belongs to the hemp family, is dependent on tendrils and grows on scaffolding up to 7 meters higher. The inflorescences of the female plant are used to brew beer. These contain bitter and aromatic substances that give the beer its typical hop bitterness. Hops also have a foam promoting preservative and calming effect. For this reason, beer is also valued as a nightcap. The hops are grown in special cultivation areas such as Hallertau or the region around Spalt. Depending on the type of beer, the desired degree of bitterness or hop aroma, the individual hop varieties are used in targeted manner according to quantity, variety and type. Yeasts are unicellular microorganisms that are responsible for fermenting beer. During beer production, the yeast ferments the sugar in the wort to alcohol. This creates carbonic acid. In the brewery, yeast mushrooms of the type Saccharomyces, sugar mushrooms, are used. The distinction is made between bottom fermenting yeasts. They settle at the bottom of the fermentation vessel after fermentation, and top fermenting yeasts. They rise up to the top of the fermentation vessel after fermentation. The yeast is processed in the foam to a thick pulp. Here too, the use and the dosage of the yeast is decisive for the later taste and character of the beer. And some history of the brewer. Friedmann brewery since 1875. The history of the Friedmann brewery documents profound change and has taken place of the world work as the past century is clearly a seldom. What a honorable craftsman began the imperial era leads to a committed woman into the third millennium. When Christoph Friedmann took over the Heldsche Brauhaus in 1875, brewing beer was a thing for seasoned men with broad shoulders and parting as if pulled edged by the hand. There are still hardly many machines. Hops, malt and water have to be brought into the right proportions with sheer muscle power. The dark wort cooled and refrigerated ship, which was the only variety brewed at the time, is laboriously dragged with bottom cellars in Jägersberg for fermentation and storage. Before the beer, the sweet flows in rivers. The family business grows the barley for Friedmann's beer itself in an associated farm. At that time, production followed the seasons. In winter, beer was fermented into beer that was harvested in the fields in the autumn. The 50 years era of Georg Friedmann begins in 1909. Like his father Christoph, Georg's son soon became a respected dignitary in his home region and also moved into the Bavarian state parliament. At the end of the 1920s, he got the outdated brewery moving and had a new one built in Jägersberg, where the cellars are already located. Downright revolutionary devices, such as cooling machine, are finding the way into a brewing trade. From now on, it is possible to produce Gräfenberg all year round. The company's upswing is unmistakable and will further be promoted in the next generation by smart decisions. Ludwig Friedmann, head of Jägersberg since 1959, switched to aluminium tanks. He also built a new brew house, gave up farming, and from then on concentrated exclusively on the art of brewing. Friedmann is now becoming a brand name that has a good reputation among more and more beer drinkers in the Forsheim district and beyond. In the 1960s, around 600,000 liters of Friedmann beer poured through thirsty throats every year. The company is flourishing, but what next? With Ludwig, a Friedmann master brewer, remains for the first time without male offspring. Daughter Siggy met with skepticism from many sides when she took over from her father the company in management in 1982. The youngest female master brewer in Germany is a model student and scores better on the exam than the majority of her male colleagues. In the years that followed, Siggy Friedmann proved to be a worthy member of the Gräfenberg brewing family. She rolls up her sleeves, modernizes the operation, among other things, by installing a fully automatic filling and environmentally friendly cleaning system, rebuilding the brewhouse and relying on quality with every fiber on their brewer's heart. Under her direction, the range of Vollbier, Pils and variety of festival beers expanded to include the Ritter Wildtrunk, a specialty named after a figure from the history of Gräfenberg, and finally Siggy's Lager. Today, after more than 125 years of eventful company history, the Friedmann Brewery is a company that, thanks to the clever man and extraordinary woman, has earned a reputation for brewing and unmistakable beer. The established images of men from the founding area would have enjoyed it. And about the brewery at the Beer Wanderers website, Friedmann's Bräustüberl, 5,000 hectoliters per year. Founded 1875, the brewery has been in the same family since its inception. Friedmann's suffers by being compared by neighbor Lindenbräu just up to the street, but its first brewery you see walking down and a nice vantage point to view medieval town gate. It also has a fine outsitting area with a cozy interior and more expensive hot food menu. Extensive hot food menu in the beer doesn't match up to their competitor. They have still serviceable and worth a try. This is one light colored beer with a tasty pils is one of my favorites. I've almost made a stop at Friedmann's when doing the trek. The first time was gorgeous day at Biergarten, perfect place to enjoy good Scheufele. Recently I enjoyed the lovely interior bar area, but didn't have time to eat. And about the this one, the Friedmann Pils, we can read Brewery Friedmann, town Gräfenberg, style Pils, color light golden, head fluffy white, nose slightly hop, body medium bodied, slightly carbonated, palate hoppy from the start but some juicy fruitiness, rounded finish, long dry finish, served on tap at the brewery. Impression, Friedmann's was the least my favorite beers on the route, but I tended to drink the dark Ritter Wirnt. This time I opted for the Pils and was pleasantly surprised, as it's not untypical for the Franconia. Pils are more rounded affairs, with this one was no exception. There was a juicy fruitiness presented and may not fit rigid style with style restrictions, but I was very pleasant nonetheless. That said, there was ample hopping making the dryish, quaffable brew. I'm not going to give up the dark beer just yet, but my guess is the Pils will be the one when I go next time on this trail. And of course I'm gonna show you the information also that I'm having about brews in Franconia. For example, we have this book right here with Friedmann. You see a look of the brewer right there, and it says Sieglinde Friedmann 1875, helles Vollbier, Pils, Hefeweizen, Ritter, Wild, Trunk, meist getrunken, Pils, annual production 5,000 hectoliters. And I also have another book which I'm gonna show you, of course, and it's this one right here. And Brauerei Friedmann, and information is 1875, Sigi Friedmann, Barbara Friedmann Merkel, 5,000 hectoliters. Frau Merkel und der Sudpfanne mit Barbara Friedmann Merkel steht mittlerweile die 5. Generation an der Sudkessel in Gräfenberg. In dieser Familie ist das Brauen allerdings, wie früher im Mittelalter überall üblich, komplett in Frauenhand. Ihre Mutter Sigi wurde bei ihnen Antritt 1982 anfangs mit viel Skepsis betrachtet, machte aber dann den Brauerei einen modernen und umweltbewussten Betrieb. Das bedeutet beispielsweise, dass die Friedmanns heute nur noch innerhalb und traditionellen den Schornsteinentfernung von in diesem Fall etwa 30 Kilometers liefern und eigene Vertragsbauern die Rohstoffe anbauen. Durch auch dem Sortiment hat die Brauerinnen Stempel aufgedruckt mit ihren eigenen Kreationen Ritter, Wildtrunk und Siegeslager. Letzteres kommt ein komplett unfiltriert, daher birgt also einen wahren Schatz an Vitaminen und Mineralstoffen. That's the information. And now over to the tasting part of this one. Friedmann Pils. Can be really interesting to try that. Site 1875, alcohol content 5.2. Zutaten: Brauwasser, Gerstenmalz, Hopfen. 91322 Gräfenberg, fein hopfisches Bier. Brauerei Friedmann, Gräfenberg. Yeah, real nice look of the label of this. So let's give it a try, sugar, and pour it up into this glass. And I'm gonna pour it up fast so you can see big foam head. Very important on the Pils to create a big foam head. This is because you help the aromas. You unleash the right aromas from the hops. So it's very important, especially on the Pils. You see the very many small bubbles raising up in the thick white foam crown. If you pour up the Pils fast, you unleash the right flavors of it. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look again of the great looking bottle and the label right here, which is, in my opinion, really looking nice, of Friedmann Pils. We can also, of course, get the aroma, which is really nice. You see right now why this is a good glass for the style. You should create this big white foam crown, which is the whole idea of the beer style Pils, to have this big white foam crown. So that's without a doubt the idea of a Pils. So let's taste it. The Friedmann Pils. Prost. And it's of course really nice. I don't know if there's still enough to for one more time, but yeah, you see that it's a big foam that it really should be, and the taste is really nice too. So thanks for watching. Hope you look forward to the next beer review. Thanks for watching this time, and see you again in the next Franconian beer review.